1970s. Sa Pilipinas naman, wala mang divorce ngayon, hindi ito isang konsepto na ginaya lamang natin sa ibang bansa. Bago sakupin ng mga Espanyol ang Pilipinas, may mga naitalang uri na ng diborsyo ang iba't ibang grupo ng katutubo sa Pilipinas. Maiituring na mas liberal pangaraw ang mga kaugalian noon pagdating sa hiwalayan ng mag-asawa. Pero noong panahon ng Kastila, ipinakilala at mas nangibabaw na ang religious beliefs at values ng mga Katoliko. Sa pagdating naman ng mga Amerikano, dala rin nila ang pagsasabatas ng absolute divorce, bagamat limitado ito. Nang nasakop ng Japan ang Pilipinas noong World War II, tuluyan nilang pinayagan ang pagkakaroon ng divorce sa bansa. Pero sa pagpasa ng sariling civil code ng Pilipinas, muling naging illegal ang divorce. May exception dyan para sa ating mga kapatid na Muslim. Sa ilalim ng Presidential Decree 1083 of 1977, kinikilala nito ang sariling batas ng mga Muslim at kasama na rito ang pagpapahintulot sa divorce. Reinstituting o pagbabalik ng absolute divorce ang hinihiling ng pinakabagong panukala ukol dito. Nilalaman din ito ang mga mungkahing grounds for divorce, kasama riyan ang grounds for legal separation at maging ang pagpapalawak ng probisyon ng psychological incapacity na ground for annulment. Idinagdag din ito ang infidelity o pangangaliwa, gender reassignment surgery or transition, ang iba pang klase ng marital abuse tulad ng verbal at financial, at irreconcilable differences. Nire-recognize nito ang mga problema na kalimitang nangyayari during the marriage.
For divorce, if the grounds are very clear, you just have to prove the grounds. So it should be easier in a sense that you have less allegations to prove for divorce.
Sa kabila ng pagkakaroon na noon ng divorce sa Pilipinas, tutol pa rin dito ang simbahan.
Don't they realize that by legalizing divorce or by legislating divorce, hindi lamang yung mga problematic na marriage ang maapektuhan. Mababago yung definition ng marriage as an institution. You really call it love that the other person reserves for himself or herself the prerogative of letting you go just because you're not as good as when I got you?
Pero ayon kay Atty. Ramos Pelares, it doesn't follow na porket wala tayong divorce, then we will have less separations.
Actually, what necessarily follows if wala tayong divorce decree, tapos hindi afford ang declaration of nullity on the grounds of psychological incapacity or sobrang hirap i-prove, ang mangyayari lang, we will just be creating more illicit relationships.
In fact, patuloy ang pagtaas ng bilang ng mga separated na Filipino every decade. Similarly, there is also an upward trend in the number of cohabitation among Filipinos bilang alternative sa mas formal na union ng pagpapakasal.
At the end of the day, it will always have to be approved by court. Because even for other countries, divorce will always have to be approved by the court. There will always be a reason why you want to end a marriage. Diba? And only if there's a reason should you be allowed to avail of the remedy of divorce.
Parang gamot yan eh. Kung hindi mo naman kailangan, wala kang ganung sakit, di ba wag kang uminom ng gamot na yan.
Sapat na nga ba ang amendment at improvement sa family code? Para kay Father Atchacoso, ang kailangan lang naman daw is to trust the church's wisdom on marriages.
Hirap nga, dahil nga wala yung mga batas na yun sa family code, lack of due discretion, hindi papasok yun doon, na hindi sila nag-isip ng matuwid, na hindi sang-ayon yung sinasabi mo o yung pinipirmahan mo doon sa niloloob ng puso at kaisipan mo. Yun ang tinatawag na simulation. Well, wala din sa family code yun. Ang solusyon para sa mga mag-asawa niyan o sa mga kasal na mabigat yung problema, irreconcilable differences, is not divorce, but rather to facilitate, to make agile the process for getting a declaration of nullity, which in church law is very agile dahil nga nahimay yung provision.
O talagang dapat nang maipasa ang divorce bill? Paninindigan ni Representative De Jesus, ito ay isang human right.
Why not give it to all, no? To all Philippine citizens, ano? Ang tingin ko, wala rin masyadong laking dahilan para pa siya pigilan, ano? Pagka kasi nilagay mo sa framework ng rights-based at saka doon sa context ng Philippine situation, tingin ko, kailangan na talaga.
Tungkulin ng Estado na pangalagaan ang pamilya bilang pundasyon ng lipunan. At tungkulin rin ng Estado na pangalagaan ang karapatan ng bawat individual. Ako si Zay Arguelles para sa GMA News.
Speaker and honorable sponsor. A survey by Okta Research Group last October 2023 found out that 51% of Filipinos oppose legalizing divorce while 41% approve it and 9% were undecided. Across socioeconomic classes, Filipinos are not in favor of legalizing divorce in the country. Mr. Speaker, what can honorable sponsor say about this?
I answered the same question already propounded by the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, and I said that the quality and integrity of a survey would depend basically on the question asked. And in the Okta survey, the question was very general. It says whether you agree or disagree with a divorce law. It does not place the respondent in a particular situation, the survey of other firms would be a much better survey because it places the respondent in a particular situation. Because if your question is, do you agree or disagree with an absolute divorce law, then if you are happily married, then definitely you do not need a divorce law, and your answer will be no. And the majority, the overwhelming majority of the Filipino couples who are married are happy and have enduring relationship. The question could have been better if it places the respondent in a particular situation. Like, for example, do you agree that a couple who have been separated de facto for 5 years should be allowed to be divorced? Then that is very specific, and you will get a truthful, honest answer to the question. That was not the case of Okta survey. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, with due respect, I just want to remind everybody that Okta Research Group is a foundation, non-profit, non-stock, compared to other survey companies. Now, in Philosophy 101, I learned this from some professors, and I highly esteem our honorable sponsor being I would say, a legal luminary in our country. Every person who knows anyone who has reasonable knowledge on the ropes of public surveying, there is a fallacious practice. Why? Because if we want the results of the survey to favor our cause, it depends on the nature and kind of questioning. Every person with reasonable knowledge on public survey, this is a fact.
Honorable Villanueva, if you can wrap up your last question, please.
Honorable sponsor, after knowing these empirical studies mentioned by this representation, I can recall Honorable Rufus Rodriguez last time demonstrating the destructive effects of divorce on children, but in the short term and long term. Do you still propose divorce bill is constitutional? I am afraid that we should not overlook the importance of the signs of the times, not because many countries are now succumbing to the will of the enemy of God, that legalization of divorce is becoming a natural trend. We should not forget the famous statement of Dr. Billy Graham during the prime years of his ministry. He categorically stated, as we are nearing to the second coming of Jesus Christ, the world will become worse and worse, but the faithful, obedient people of God will become better and better. Now, the Bible also, I suddenly remember this, not because many countries are now succumbing to the will, sorry to say, to the will of the enemy of God. As the Bible says in John 10:10, Jesus said, the thief, referring to Satan, cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I came to give life and have it more abundantly. Citing that majority of countries in these last days are succumbing to the so-called Satan's will, I just want to remind everybody, especially our honorable sponsor, in Matthew 7:13, verse 14, enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in it by it. Because narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it. Just a simple reminder that majority does not necessarily mean right. Granting, for the sake of argument, that only the Vatican State and the Philippines are the remaining countries in the world who refuse to violate, who refuse to go to the trending of the world, that family should no longer be so sacred as envisioned by the Creator of heavens and the earth, the Almighty God, as well as supported by our Constitution, that the youth of the nation shall be protected. The welfare of the youth in nation building must be all out protected, physically, morally, spiritually, intellectually, and their social being. Now, I think, would it not be right, Mr. Speaker and honorable sponsor, this time we have to remind the parents in our country that there is a agency for parents to sacrifice their selfishness, their personal convenience, for the sake of the security and better future of their children and children's children, or else. What can we hope for a nation when the youth of the land is destroyed? How can we fulfill our common quest that this nation someday will be great again, when the deterioration of the youth of the land will be supported even by the state? So what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker and honorable sponsor, I believe passing a divorce bill, another simple question, is it right to say we are more willing to have happy remarriages at the expense of children's having healthy, cohesive families in the future? Could not this be myopic, selfish interest of the parents versus the brightest future of millions of children? Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for reminding me of the words of God. But most probably, I don't have to be reminded. I am a good Catholic. But, Mr. Speaker, divorce does not destroy a marriage. Divorce does not make a marriage violable. Because in a divorce proceedings, there is no more marriage to talk about. It has been shattered, broken, most probably beyond recognition. What is before the family court is not a vibrant, enduring, and loving marriage. What is before the family court is a cadaver of a marriage. So divorce definitely does not destroy a marriage. Divorce gives spouses under very serious conflict, particularly a wife who is abused, violated, abandoned, to have a second chance of having her liberty as well as her self-respect. No less that the Supreme Court said in Te versus Te, and let me repeat that. The Supreme Court said, the dissolution of a marriage is a merciful interment of a long-dead marriage. It is a wrong notion that divorce destroys a marriage. Before a divorce proceeding starts, the marriage is already beyond salvation. And let me underscore that although we respect the dogma of the church, the Philippines is a secular state. Marriage is a secular institution, and it would be subject to the various legislation which would protect marriage as well as protect those couples who are in a broken and irreparably destroyed marriage. No less than the Catholic countries in the world, the Christian countries, have already legalized divorce. In other words, divorce is not against the word of God. Divorce is not against the tenets of the Catholic or Christian religions. Otherwise, these Catholic countries will not legalize divorce. And these are firstly Catholic countries like Ireland, like Spain, which brought to us our religious faith, like the Latin American countries. In fact, in the Latin American countries, they make divorce so easy because they have what is known as notarial divorce. But these are Catholic countries, Mr. Speaker. And what is the frequency of divorce worldwide? It is very low. In Colombia, it is 0.7% out of 1,000 marriages. And that is the score practically worldwide. Some countries are even lower in the ratio. In other words, the divorce does not open the floodgates to divorces and separation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Reinstitute divorce. Reinstitute divorce. Reinstitute divorce.
Yes to 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 divorce.
No.
Yes to divorce. 100%.
Ano?
Yes, I support the Divorce Pilipinas Coalition. Kailangan yan. Kasi matitis ka pa ba kung hindi na kayo effective, di ba? Sino magsasacrifice? Bata at kayo din. Kikik na.
Sa totoo lang, hindi ko naman po kailangan ng divorce, pero para po sa mga kaibigan ko at mga solo parent na nangangailangan nito at para sa kanilang kalayaan.
Yes po, dahil gusto ko nang tuluyang maging malaya sa isang kapirasong papel.
Speaker, it was a very happy and ideal setting for someone who had vowed to cherish the institution of marriage. I'm referring to the Honorable Edsel Lagman, Mr. Speaker, my good friend. When they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, golden anniversary, with his wonderful and dear wife, Cielo. Mr. Speaker, I cannot forget an episode in that family rejoicing where a member of the family stood to describe what kind of marriage best fit the one of my dear friend Kong Edsel and his dear wife, Cielo. Ang sabi niya, Mr. Speaker, I do not need a fantasy to describe how happy, how ideal this marriage is. Hindi ko po ma-recall yung ibang detalye, ngunit ako po ay sumang-ayon sapagkat sa nakita ko pong mga mukha ng dumalo, happy faces, talaga pong tumetestigo sa isang matagumpay na pagsasama ng dalawang mag-asawa. My question, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, bakit po kaya si Kong Edsel pa yung nag-sponsor ng isang bill? Bakit kaya hindi na lang iba sa atin? Sapagkat yung nakita ko pong katatagan, tagumpay, at isang hindi may kakailang makabuluhang pagsasama ng dalawang tao, ay hindi ko maisip kung bakit siya pa ang mag-i-sponsor ng isang divorce bill na alam naman nating ito po ay makapagpapawalang bisa sa seremonya sa kabanalan ng pag-aasawa. May I have some comments, Mr. Speaker?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Speaker. The divorce bill, once it becomes a law, is not for everybody. Majority of the marriages in the Philippines, I think overwhelming majority of the marriages in the Philippines are enduring and loving relationship. Just like my marriage with my late wife, Cielo. And to my mind, those happy marriages should not be affected by the passage of this bill. This bill is for the exceptional circumstances where marriage has hit the rocks and is beyond repair. When it is said that marriages are solemnized in heaven, some of them plummet into hell irremediably. So the state has the responsibility to secure spouses and their children from a house on fire. This is the reason why I have introduced this bill even before my wife and I celebrated our golden wedding anniversary. This is not for happy marriages. It is for marriages which have crumbled and are beyond repair, so that there is need for them to be given relief or a lifeline so that they can be rescued from these constant conflicts which even would affect their children. Mr. Speaker, all countries in the world have legitimized divorce, except the Philippines and the tiny ecclesiastical state of the Vatican. What does this mean? This means that there can be no unanimous blunder in these countries where divorce is allowed. And these countries would include Catholic countries and Christian countries. So in other words, divorce does not offend the Catholic or the Christian faith. And we believe very strongly that thousands of women in the Philippines who are living in disastrous relationship would need this absolute divorce so that they can secure a possible second chance at marital bliss. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the sponsor admitted that divorce law or this divorce bill is not intended for everybody. That it is only targeting those marriages with peculiar characters that probably needing divorce bill. So if it is for a special group of people or marriages, Mr. Speaker, it might fall under the character of a class legislation. And we should not do that. Because all laws are supposed to be applicable to all citizens of this republic. We are not supposed to legislate something that should only be for use of a few, of a special class. I will not agree with the proposition, Mr. Speaker, that the divorce bill should only be for those marriages which are at the brink of collapse. Who is going to make a judgment, Mr. Speaker, that a certain marriage is now supposed to be terminated by way of a divorce? Bakit po nung itong dalawang tao na humarap po sa kabanalan ng pagsaisang dibdib, hindi po ba ang malimit nilang sinasabi, for better or for worse? Sa karamdaman o sa kalusugan, till death do us part, Sir Speaker. Hindi ba ganun po yung general premise natin? Bakit po ang daming nag-survive? And the best example is the one of the good sponsor, Sir Speaker. Bakit hindi po ang gawin nating panuntunan? Pagtulong-tulungan po natin ang mga marriages na nahihirapan. Kung kukunti naman pala yun, and there are only a special few, sabi ng ating sponsor, we're not supposed to legislate a bill that will be characterized as a class legislation, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have to teach my distinguished colleague on what is the meaning of class legislation. This is not absolute. Members of the same class who are affected by the same circumstances would not be class legislation if a law is passed for their benefit or for their needs. So, this bill is not class legislation. Number two, no less than the Supreme Court in Te versus Te declared that the dissolution of a marriage is a merciful interment of a long-dead marriage. What is brought before the family court is not a vibrant marriage. What is brought before the family court is the cadaver of a decaying marriage. For this reason, there is really need for the state to rescue spouses and their children from this cruel, abusive, and abandoned relationship. When we say, till death do us part, this is not even biblical. It started in the 15th century in England as part of a literature, which had been followed by subsequent generations. And the majority of marriages in the Philippines are not canonical marriages or Christian marriages. They are civil marriages. And the state can provide exceptions as a rescue for this kind of marriages which are now really long dead in the language of the Supreme Court. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, yun daw pong till death do us part is not biblical. I will humbly disagree, Mr. Speaker. Ang sabi po ng Panginoong Diyos, kung ano yung pinagsama, Mr. Speaker, yun daw pong till death do us part is not biblical. I will humbly disagree, Mr. Speaker. Ang sabi po ng Panginoong Diyos, kung ano yung pinagsama ng Diyos, ay dapat ay huwag papaghihiwalay ng tao. Yun lamang po, ibig sabihin. Nasa Biblia po yun. Walang sino man ang pwedeng pahiwalay doon sa pinagsama ng Diyos.
Mr. Speaker, we should
Teka po, hindi pa po ako tapos,
hindi ka pa
Mr.
tapos.
Speaker.
Okay.
Yung family code was mentioned also. I believe, Mr. Speaker, the family code offers two alternatives also. One is legal separation and annulment. What is so special about this special group of people whose marriages are so broke that they cannot do something about it? It is as if that everything else cannot be sufficient to restore it or to even improve that relationship. Ano po yung specialty ng group na ito? Bakit hindi na lang annulment? Nandun naman po sa ating batas ito. Bakit hindi na lang legal separation? In other words, our family code, Mr. Speaker, addresses this particular problem. And so it becomes very special if, aside from these two alternatives, there will be another one to be offered to this group of unfortunate marriages, Mr. Speaker. Now, the sponsor is asking for biblical precept. I will contribute one, Mr. Speaker. In Malakay, chapter 2, verse 16, tatagalogin ko na po, Mr. Speaker, para po sa ating kapakanan. Ito po is quoted from God Himself. Namumuhi ako sa diborsyo ng mag-asawa, sabi ng Panginoong Diyos ng Israel. At namumuhi ako sa taong binabalot ng karahasan ang sarili na parang nababalot ng kasuotan. Mr. Speaker, if the Lord God Himself hates divorce, sino ba tayo na mga tao lamang na nilalang niya ang siya pang gagawa ng paraan para isulong ito?
Tapos na po kayo.
Baka gusto niyo sumagot muna, Sir Speaker, Your Honor.
O pwede po ako sumagot?
Opo.
Okay. Unang-una, we have to make a distinction between the phrase, till death do us part, and the statement attributed to the Lord that what God has put together, no man shall separate. Itong death, till death do us part, wala naman to sa Biblia. And I would challenge the distinguished Marcoleta to point to the Bible whether there is such a term there or a phrase there, till death do us part. Wala po.
I will accept the challenge, Mr. Speaker.
Let me continue. The
No,
phrase,
you are offering a challenge, Your Honor.
let me just continue before you accept the challenge. The phrase, quote, until death do us part, was first popularized in this English-speaking world following the first printing of the Book of Common Prayer in England in 1549, during the time of Edward VI, when the average lifespan was 47 years old. Yung naman na statement ni Jesus Christ to the Pharisees ay hindi naman doctrinal or cast in stone. Because in his answer, in his conversation with the Pharisees, he made an exception. The exception is you can divorce an unchaste wife. So meron ng exception agad. And in the Pauline principles, St. Paul added another exception. A spouse who is an unbeliever and leaves his believing spouse, the spouse left behind can remarry and divorce the unbeliever. So there are exceptions to this. Now, in the family code, we have three modes of making a marriage not subsisting. One is the dissolution of a marriage based on psychological incapacity at the time of the marriage, although manifested during the marriage. This is the canonical divorce, which has been practiced in the Catholic Church for ages. And this canonical divorce precedent came into the family code because of the lobby of the Catholic Church. This is according to just one of the justices who was part of the committee which drafted the family code, Justice Frida Roth Romero. Now, another mode is annulment. But annulment covers causes simultaneous or prior to the marriage. It does not cover causes consequent to the marriage during cohabitation. And in most cases, the causes for divorce would be after the marriage. Now, with respect to legal separation, This is only separation from bed and board. The husband and the wife can live separately, but the marriage tie is not severed. In other words, they cannot remarry, so much so that concubinage and adultery would result, which are public offenses, because they have new and other relationships. But all of these are not adequate, because we need a divorce law to cover causes during the cohabitation of the spouses, and we need a divorce law to allow the spouses to remarry. That is why we need this divorce law. Moreover, experience would show that in all of these cases of dissolution of marriage, annulment, and legal separation, they are very expensive and takes a long time. That is why we have provided in this bill a less expensive and affordable mode of marriage. And in many circumstances, it is even cost-free to the court-assisted petitioner. And we have also provided in the bill that the judge of the family court will resolve the petition for divorce within 1 year from the expiration of this 60-day cooling-off period. So that makes it affordable and expeditious. Finally, we are a secular state. The Philippines is a secular state. Under our Declaration of Principle, we have maintained that separation of church and state. While we respect the canons of the church, we should not be controlled by the canons of this church in secular matters. Because marriage is a human institution. It is subject to human frailty and mundane misgivings. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, let us go to the acceptance to my challenge, whether there is any statement in the Bible with respect to till death do us part.
Before the child sponsor, because I have not heard his comment on the verse that I cited, Malachi verse 2, chapter 2, verse 16, when God said, "For I hate divorce, says the Lord, the God of Israel." Question is, if God himself hates divorce, how can one of us, one of his creation, sponsor divorce? There was no specific statement made by the sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, again, he cited that divorce, annulment is very costly and a very long process. So why would you exclude? Why would you make a special and fast lane to some marriages which perceive the relationship to be in tatters? And you do not offer explanation to the rest and to all those who survive and made sure that their marriage will continue. Bakit po palaging special na lang ang treatment? Ba't kinakailangan maging mabilis para sa kanila at hindi masyadong magastos? Bakit sa iba po nating mga nag-survive o maaaring tumuloy sa either legal separation or annulment, magastos po yun. But that is the law. Bakit bibigyan po natin ngayon ng special attention, a fast lane to these marriages? Unfortunate they may be, but I think they do not have a special place in the legislation that should be general in scope. Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. And to the challenge, paano po kung may bibigay ko sa inyo yung verse, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, na sinasabi na malaya lamang ang isang nag-asawa at mapuputol lamang yung bond of marriage kapag patay na ang isa sa kanila? What if I am able to show you a particular biblical phrase? Will you withdraw your sponsorship, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor?
Show it now.
What is the answer, Mr. Speaker?
Please show it now. If you are accepting the challenge, could you tell us where in the Bible this phrase till death do us part appears? Well, anyway, Mr. Speaker, when we say till death do us part, death here could be the physical cessation of life. But death also can be metaphorical. It could be the cessation of love, respect, and tolerance. That is why marriages which have forfeited these qualities of love and respect and tolerance can be the subject of divorce in all of the countries in the world except the Philippines and the Vatican, Mr. Speaker.
Let's go back to the challenge, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Will the sponsor, Mr. Speaker, be gracious enough to give me a little time because wala po palang internet dito sa loob. Kasi po yung aking notes nandun sa aking planner, nandun sa opisina ko, pakukuha ko lang sana. But if the sponsor will agree that if I am not able to bring to him today the particular verse in the Bible, I withdraw all my interpellation. Otherwise, if I am able to give him the complete verse in the Bible, he will withdraw his sponsorship, Mr. Speaker.
I will never withdraw my sponsorship. And I am certain the distinguished gentleman cannot show any place in the Bible quoting till death do us part.
On the strength of my oath.
But if the gentleman cannot show this, then most probably he should vote for the bill.
I want to make sure, Mr. Speaker, nandun po sa planner ko kasi sinulat ko na po kaninang umaga eh. I want to make sure, ayaw ko pong magkamali. Kaya kung papayag po kayo, magkaibigan naman po tayo eh. Bigyan nyo lang po ako ng ilang minuto para makuha ko po yung aking planner.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. He can get that. It should not be counted against my time.
So, kailan ko po pwedeng ibigay sa inyo?
Nasaan po yung planner ninyo?
Mr. Speaker, may I terminate my interpellation for a while until I was able to get my planner?
Yes, of course, Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor.
We'll suspend
Mr.
session.
Speaker, I move that to suspend the field of interpellations.
Yeah, session is suspended. Was recognized earlier. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I apologize for the delay. Fortunately, I was able to retrieve the verse that I have cited. Mr. Speaker, I'm citing 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 39, which reads, and I quote, "A woman is obligated to stay in her marriage as long as her husband is alive. But if her husband dies, she is free to marry whomever she wants, only it should be believer in the Lord." So till death do us part talaga. Kailangan mamatay po yung isa para lang makapag-asawa ka pa ng iba. Salamat po, Mr. Speaker. And I think my good friend is honorable enough to accept the challenge. I accepted the challenge, and I think it is for him to withdraw his sponsorship. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, what the distinguished interpellator quoted is not the phrase till death do us part. In fact, what he said was only with respect to the woman, not to the husband. It is here that when the husband dies, the woman can remarry. But it would be better if she does not remarry. That is completely different from till death do us part, which is addressed to both the husband and the wife. But as I've said, death here could be physical cessation of life or a metaphor that love, respect, and tolerance in the marriage had already ceased. And there is no way of reconciling these spouses. I am ready to answer the next question, if any.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Marcoleta, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I did not know that my good friend, the sponsor, is after the exact word, till death do us part. But it was only a matter of romanticizing it, Mr. Speaker. The couple are before, or is before, the solemnizing priest or anyone who is in a position to celebrate the marriage. So until death do us part is to romanticize the impending relationship. But the biblical anchor is the same, Mr. Speaker. I hope my good friend could comprehend the simple import of this particular biblical passage. It is still till death do us part. Kahit bali-baliktarin mo ito, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be interpreted in another way. I rest my case, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your interpellation. And Mr. Speaker, even if we accept the annotation of the distinguished Marcoleta, it will not deny the fact that all Catholic countries who believe in the Bible have their own divorce laws in varying degrees of liberality. Only the Philippines and the Vatican do not have such divorce laws. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished Marcoleta.
Sponsor. I have been listening to the discussions previously and have many nagging questions regarding the state of marriage dissolution in the Philippines. And this is not to mean, Mr. Speaker, that this humble representation hasn't decided on the position he has to take regarding divorce in the country. In fact, I have my own position on the said matter. But listening to the previous interpellation, Mr. Speaker, which prompted this representation to ask few clarificatory questions and infuse a new perspective, Mr. Speaker. Those questions that were previously asked to the gentleman from Albay were born out of a belief, which is basically, Mr. Speaker, of Christian character. And as we all know, Mr. Speaker, down south, in the predominantly Muslim areas in Mindanao, specifically from my region, divorce is allowed, Mr. Speaker, because we consider marriage as both a social institution that goes through legal processes, Mr. Speaker. So for me, Mr. Speaker, the bill clearly its purpose really is to address a gap in the current law which prevents dysfunctional marriages, which have already run their course and cannot be further revived from being put to rest. Para bang, Mr. Speaker, itong patay na bangkay na hinahayaang babulok. Like a rotting dead body, a dysfunctional marriage, Mr. Speaker, may cause illness, psychological, physical, social, and emotional illnesses on all involved, the spouses, the children, and to some extent, to the whole nation. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I wish to seek enlightenment on a few matters to the dear and honorable sponsor. Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, does divorce destroy a marriage, or is it the recognition that a marriage can and does go wrong, even to a point of being irreparable? Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for that question. Divorce does not destroy a marriage. Before a divorce proceeding is instituted, the marriage has long perished. It has been destroyed by human frailty of either or both of the spouses. The distinguished gentleman is correct that what is before the family court is not a vibrant marriage. It is a cadaver of a marriage, a long dead marriage.
So, Mr. Speaker, would the good sponsor agree with me that divorce, as articulated in this proposed measure, Mr. Speaker, is merely a recognition that there may be things that happens or may happen after the actual marriage that lead to the necessity of them no longer being married and enjoy each other's company? Tama po ba, Mr. Speaker?
Definitely. I totally agree.
Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, marami pong dahilan kung bakit ang mag-asawa ay hindi na may pagpapatuloy ang kanilang pagsasama. To paraphrase nga other sayings, the court really, ang divorce po ay hindi pagpatay sa isang bagay or ang marriage, kundi paglibing sa matagal ng bangkay, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, when a married couple live absolutely separate lives, meaning they're no longer living in the same household, would it still be called a family, Mr. Speaker? If they are granted an absolute annulment under the family code, can it still be considered a family? Or, Mr. Speaker, is annulment therefore a method to destroy a family? Mr. Speaker, I just want to be clarified.
Your Honor, neither divorce nor annulment would destroy a family. Under the family code, which is now in existence, in annulment proceedings, the court has jurisdiction to decree on the custody and support of the children. In other words, the family, as much as possible, is responded to by the court and by the couples. What is important is that in annulment or in divorce, the children, members of the family, are spared from the trauma and conflict of incessant battles and clashes between the spouses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree. If we are to liken it, kasi if the annulment really is to grant spouses to live separately, completely from each other, physically, emotionally, psychologically, living separately. If that would be under the, in some perspective of others, saying that it could destroy a family, or once a husband and wife no longer lives together, reassume their status as being single, then it destroys a family. It can no longer be called family. I do not agree on that, because there are also cases where death could also become a source of being separated from a father or a mother. But even death cannot dissolve a family. Kung tayo po ay, ang measurement lang po natin is togetherness, to be called family a family, then meron pong mga pamilya na hindi po namin measure ang kanilang togetherness para sila po itawaging pamilya, Mr. Speaker. So yes, I agree with the with the answer of the gentleman from Albay.
Thank you,
Yes,
Speaker. Thank you very much.
yes, under the law, it's still considered a family. So whether a spouses have been granted to nullify their marriage, they can, with their children, they can still be called family under the family code. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable sponsor, if annulment does not destroy a family according to the, family code, but merely to dissolve a marriage, then is it not hypocritical to say that divorce destroys the family, Mr. Speaker, the honorable sponsor?
As I've said, Mr. Speaker, distinguished interpolator, like annulment, divorce does not destroy the family. Because there are provisions in a divorce law which would maintain the family, like the award of custody, support, and respect of the legitimate of their children.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Speaker. Sa akin ko pong palagay, kung tayo po ay iintindihin natin ng mas open ang ating understanding, ayaw natin ng divorce, pero in its practical sense, makukumpira po kung makukumpira po doon sa granting ng pag-annul ng marriage, because the idea really is to live separately. Hindi ko lang maintindihan, Mr. Speaker, kung bakit allergic tayo sa word na divorce when in fact inaalaw naman po under the family code for the absolute annulment of a marriage. So to me, Mr. Speaker, is a bit hypocritical, Mr. Speaker. Going back to a married couple living separately, would it be fair to say that right now, across the country, there are marriages where the spouses are no longer living separate, are only living separately, but with their own separate set of families, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor?
Yes, Your Honor. But the general rule, the general situation of married couples in the Philippines is that they are loving and enduring in their marriage, and these happy marriages do not need a divorce law. The divorce law is being enacted in order to liberate spouses, particularly wives, from a toxic and broken marriage, so that they can have a second chance at marital bliss, or to be freed from a strained and destructive relationship. That is the very essence of a divorce decree.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, right now across the Philippines, it's a matter of fact. Although, Mr. Speaker, I don't have the exact statistics, but there are cases wherein couples are only married in paper, but they're living separately and having their own separate partners together. In many cases, Mr. Speaker, under a penalty of a crime, which is for filing of a suit like bigamy and concubinage. Mr. Speaker, in most cases, the purpose, Mr. Speaker, of this law is presumably, Mr. Speaker, intended to keep the marriage together, to keep the marriage intact. But there are cases where this is being used as a way of acting on a personal vendetta, which is not the very purpose and spirit of the law. It has become, for some, the weaponization of the law, extortion in many cases, filing for bigamy when both spouses have no longer love between each other, Mr. Speaker. So would the gentleman and the statesman from Albay agree with me that in cases where there are couples no longer love each other, do not see themselves as continuing the marriage and living under the roof, but having happily enjoy the company of partners, Mr. Speaker? Would that be, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, like a sort of taliin sila sa isang bagay na hindi naman nila gusto? In most cases, Mr. Speaker, ginagamit po yung batas, magiging weapon para i-retaliate or ano bang tawag dito sa Tagalog, magiganti sa partner to a point na medyo may aspeto po ng extortion sa mga bagay na ito. Hindi ho ba ito taliwas doon sa batas na ininanais nito para lang ma-impact yung marriage, but rather kumbaga opposite sa interest ng batas na yun kasi nagagamit nawi-weaponize na nga po ang batas, Mr. Speaker.
Itong ating panukala on absolute divorce ay hindi pinapayagan na i-weaponize ang batas. Unang-una, kailangan merong basihan ang pag-file ng petition for absolute divorce. Hindi benggansa lamang ang kailangan umiral. Merong tunay na basihan. Kaya't marami tayong grounds for divorce. At dito lamang pwedeng i-anchor yung petition for divorce. Pangalawa, iniiwasan natin ang pag-abuso ng batas sapagkat yung state prosecutor ay binigyan ng karapatan mag-imbestiga kung ito bang mga spouses na to ay nagmumuro-muro lamang upang mahinto na ang kanilang pagsasama through divorce. At kung merong collusion, yan ay pinagbabawal at malaki ang parusa. For collusion, ang parusa ay 5 straight years of imprisonment and 300,000 pesos fine. At ang pangatlo ay pinagbabawal natin ang mga tinatawag na quickie divorces or no contest divorce o itong tinatawag na notarial or email divorce. Sa atin, kailangan dumaan sa judicial process. Sa judicial scrutiny ang petition for divorce. Maliban doon sa mga tinatawag natin na summary proceedings, kapares nung sinasabi ng ating kasama, na matagal nang hindi na nagsasama at wala ng pag-asang ma-reconcile. And under the bill, at least 5 years separation in fact with no chance of reconciliation ay iyan binibigyan ng summary proceedings. Kung ang mag-asawa ay legally or judicially separated under the family code na 2 taon na, eh sila ay pwede nang magdiborsyo at pwedeng merong karapatan mag-asawa ulit. Sapagkat ito ang pagkakaiba ng legal separation sa divorce. Sa legal separation, yung mag-asawa judicially separated ay hindi pwedeng mag-asawa ulit. Eh, ano nangyayari? Maraming mga bigamous, adulterous marriages and illegitimate children sapagkat hindi pwede mag-asawa yung mga legally separated. Pero ngayon, binibigyan natin sila ng karapatan mag-asawa ulit. At sa ating pananaw, yung mga nagdiborsyo na under canon law or sa Catholic or Christian religious denomination ay sila will be given civil recognition. Kaparis ng mga nagdiborsyo abroad, nagbalid ang diborsyo, ito ay bibigyan din ng civil recognition dito sa ating bansa.
Marami pong salamat, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the beauty of legislation, Mr. Speaker, is it should be a reflective of the current time. It should walk hand in hand with the experience of man. It should be a reflection of the happenings and the current circumstance in a particular community, Mr. Speaker. Kaya para po sa akin, itong piece of legislation na to, panukalang batas na ito ng ating butiking congressman galing po ng 1st District ng Albay, ay hindi po siya para sirain ang matagal ng patay. Ito po ay paraan para mabigyang lunas ang problema. Dahil may problema po tayo sa may nangyayari pong problema wherein the couples no longer love each other. In fact, may mga couples po, Mr. Speaker, na ayaw niya makita ang isa't isa. Na ipagsabay mo tumira sa isang bagay, ay baka isa sa kanila ang mamatay. Ayaw nating mangyari iyon. May mga cases po ng mga abusive relationship. Nasa karamihan pong, in many cases, Mr. Speaker, it involves women. Sila po ang pasyadong agrabyado. So yes, this is a recognition of that current situation that we are in right now. Ito po ay isang paraan para mabigyang lunas ang matagal nang ayaw nating tanggapin. Na para bagang allergic tayo masyado pag ang pag-usapan ay divorce. Pero inaalaw naman po ang absolute annulment sa batas. Mr. Speaker, are there any instances, Your Honor, where a couple who is happily married suddenly applies for a divorce or annulment, Mr. Speaker?
Bago ko sagutin yan, gusto kong i-underscore na tama ang ating kasama na itong ating panukala ay attune with reality. Sapagkat merong mga kasalan na talagang gumuho na at hindi na pwedeng ma-repair. Kaya madalas kong sabihin, yung institution of divorce emerged most probably subsequent to or almost contemporaneous with the institution of marriage. Sapagkat maraming kasalan na gumuho at kailangan bigyan ng karapatan mag-iwalay ang mag-asawa na hindi na pwedeng magsama ulit. Ngayon, doon sa tanong ng ating kasama, pakiulit lang ho yung tanong.
Yes, bago ko lang ulitin ang tanong, I think ito pong nangyayari, tama po, just to re-echo the sentiment of the good gentleman from the 1st District of Albay. Mr. Speaker, if we continue on forcing these couples just to pretend that they are married when in fact they no longer love each other, that to some extent they hurt each other by their mere presence, Mr. Speaker, just so that they can secure on paper their marriage, is to me a bastardization of marriage in itself. So, if we are to ask the good gentleman, because I was listening to his response yesterday, was there any instance where a happily married couple suddenly applies for annulment?
Dito sa Pilipinas ho ay hindi mangyayari yan.
Tama po.
Sapagkat nga, kung happily married, ay hindi na kailangan nila ang divorce at walang justified reason for separation. Ngunit sa ibang bansa, kapares ng Estados Unidos na recognize ang no contest divorce, merong magandang pagsasama na yung mag-asawa ay nag-a-apply ng no contest divorce upang sila ay malibre na from one another, from each other. Pero iyan ay hindi mangyayari sa Pilipinas sapagkat pinagbabawal natin ang ganon na paghiwalay o pagdiborsyo.
Tama po. I agree completely, Mr. Speaker, because this bill is not for those happily married. Tama po yung sinabi, just to paraphrase the statement of the good gentleman from Albay. This is not for the happily married couple. This is, Mr. Speaker, because a happily married couple, if there's a conflict that occurs, they resolve it even when the conflict is brought out, or even the topic of divorce is brought out, already settled. Marami po sa atin dito ang happily married sa kamarang ito. So it would be impossible na kung happily married ay suddenly mag-a-apply siya or para sa kanya itong divorce, because it is against the very nature of man. If you're happy, then you're no longer seek anything that would overturn that happiness. Hindi ho ba? So sa makatwid, Mr. Speaker, ito pong divorce ay intended only for those marriages na wala na pong pag-asang mabuhay muli. I re-echo the statement of the good gentleman because it has to be emphasized again and again na hindi ho ito isisira ang pamilya. Rather, this is an acceptance of a reality where couples no longer live happily. And that where couples abuse each other, and to some extent, and generally, Mr. Speaker, the victims are always the women. Wala pong study where a happily married couple files for an annulment under this current law that we have. Now, Mr. Speaker, moving on to my next question, Mr. Speaker. In practical terms, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, what is the difference between annulment and divorce? Yung practicality po, yung pinag-usapan, no longer about the semantics, legal processes, but in practical terms, how can divorce be different from annulment?
Merong malaking pagkakaiba ang annulment under the Family Code at yung divorce under this bill. Ang pagkakaiba ay doon sa annulment under the Family Code, ang mga grounds for annulment ay kailangan prior to or simultaneous to the marriage at hindi covered yung mga causes subsequent to the solemnization of the marriage or during cohabitation. Ngunit, dito sa ating panukala, ang mga grounds for annulment ay ating kinopya rin, ngunit ang sabi natin, kailangan ito ay maamendahan na makover yung grounds which happened after the solemnization of the marriage. Sapagkat ang karamihan na grounds ay during cohabitation. For example, marital infidelity during cohabitation, marital abandonment during cohabitation, marital abuse during cohabitation, at ito ay hindi covered doon sa grounds for annulment.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sponsor. Tatanungin ko lang po, in the process where one is to apply for an absolute annulment, hindi ho ba merong nakalaan na budget dapat ang isang tao or may corresponding na babayaran? Tama ho ba? Na to a point na medyo malaki-laki po yung bayad pag ito po ay nag-a-apply for grant of absolute allotment?
Sa ngayon, kung pinag-uusapan ang bayan, ay talagang masyadong malaki ang kinokolekta ng mga abogado sa annulment proceedings. Ang aking alam ay umaabot sa 300,000 or even more. Masyadong expensive ang annulment proceedings, kasama na yung legal separation at dissolution of marriage under Article 36 of the Family Code. Ngunit, dito sa ating panukala, merong mandato ang Estado na itong divorce proceedings should be affordable and expeditious. Kaya yung mga walang kaya sa buhay ay binibigyan ng tinatawag na court-assisted petitioner. Sila ay hindi na magbabayad ng filing fees, judicial costs, attorney's fees sapagkat merong abogadong i-assign sa kanila at kasama pa dito ang pagbigay ng professional services kung kailangan ng mga psychiatrists or psychologists. Ito ang pagkakaiba. This is very affordable. At isa pa, expeditious. Yung ngayon, ang mga annulment processes ay umaabot ng kung ilan dekada. Kung minsan patay na yung respondent bago lumabas ang desisyon. Dito sa ating panukala, nakasulat diyan, yung judge of the family court will decide the petition for divorce within 1 year from the expiration of the 60-day cooling off period.
Tama po, Mr. Speaker. Kaya nga po babalikan ko ang kakalagtaning tanong ko po. Kung may nangyayari po bang mga mag-asawa, pero they are no longer living together and they have their own partners, separate partners. Ito pong legal annulment processes. Sa sobrang mahal po ng bayan para mag-grantan, minsan pa, never mind, matagal. Nagiging isa rin ho itong obstacle para doon po sa mga hindi kaya, walang kaya sa buhay, na mag-apply ng annulment. Mr. Speaker, nasabi po ng dating presidenteng Magsaysay, those who have less in life should have more in law. Kung susumahin po natin yung intention ng batas na ito po yung level sa ground na where financial status would no longer be an impediment for one to be free from a bad marriage. Na hindi lang ho ang may kaya, hindi lang po ang may pera, ang po pwede pong i-liberate niya ang kanyang sarili sa isang bulok na marriage, sa isang abusive na relationship. Na pwede din po doon sa ating mga kababayan na kapuspalad na wala po silang kakayahan financially to avail sa absolute annulment, ay may pagkakataon na po silang maging masaya sa kanilang buhay at magkaroon po ng karapatan na mamuhay na masaya sa piling ng ibang tao, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, essentially, in a practical sense, Mr. Speaker, to me, divorce as under this proposed bill and the annulment, absolute annulment, Mr. Speaker, in effect, would be still the same to me. Why? Because the ultimate intention of both is for a husband and wife who no longer love each other, especially those who are in an abusive relationship, have a way of living their lives, be in a relationship with another partners, Mr. Speaker. The measurement really is to separate altogether the husband and wife. In practical sense, para po sa akin, either you call it absolute annulment or divorce, which is absolute annulment is allowed under our family code, or divorce under this proposed legislation. In effect, in its practical sense, disregard its legal differences in processes would still be the same. Kaya nga po ako nagtatanong, bakit allergic tayo sa divorce when in fact nandun naman po under the family code? Ang kaibahan lang, Mr. Speaker, is that masyadong mahal ang pag-apply ng absolute annulment under the family code. Masyadong mahal na hindi po kaya ng ating mga kababayan na alam naman po natin na sakal sila sa isang relasyon, marriage, na hindi na po gumagana. Naapektuhan at natutroma, hindi lang po ang mag-asawa, pati na rin po ang kanilang mga anak, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in closing, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the good gentleman from Albay, the statesman from the great province of Albay, for allowing me to ask these questions, and also for allowing me, Mr. Speaker, to probably infuse other perspective, as perspective from someone who is from the South, someone who has been marginalized in both representation, in both the opportunity to voice out issues and concerns that not only relate to us exclusively, but even those outside of our region, because we share this reality with the rest of the Filipino people. In our religion, we allow divorce because we're not hypocritical. We acknowledge when there is a problem. And acknowledgement of a problem is not to continue the problem to linger, but to provide the remedy and solution. When it comes to marriage, which is essentially a social contract, which is essentially a social, one of the longest social order, so that goes through legal processes, Mr. Speaker, to solemnize such union, is for us, Mr. Speaker, if it no longer works, then it should also be through legal processes that would guarantee a remedy for a marriage that no longer works, Mr. Speaker. That is the viewpoint from this representation who represents the marginalized community in the South. Pahig po kami sa BARM, sa Lanao del Sur, at sa buong kapuluan ng rehiyon ng BARM na magkaroon po ng isang batas na nire-recognize po niya na meron pong problema at meron pong mga cases na ang isang marriage ay hindi na po gumagana. Na may mga marriage wherein abuse na po yung asawa. Saka, in most cases, ang babae. And Mr. Speaker, it is, for me, though it is the mandate of the state to preserve marriage, but it is also the mandate of the state, through this Camera, through this Congress, to ensure that there should be a protection of those who are tied to free, to rescue, as what the good gentleman from Albay said, to rescue those who have been, for so long, suffered in a marriage that no longer works, in a marriage that is traumatizing, a marriage that is already dead, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat po sa ating butihing kagalang-galang na representante mula po sa 1st District ng Albay, a statesman from the province of Albay. Kami po sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao, nakikisa po sa kanyang panukalang batas na magkaroon po ng divorce dito sa ating bansa. Marami pong salamat and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much to the Honorable Sia Alonto Adjong for his verificatory questions and for shedding light and brilliance to this ongoing debate. And I appreciate his advanced explanation of a yes vote for the absolute divorce bill. Thank you.